Ever since I was a little child, I've always wanted to do the impossible. Today is a day I've been looking forward to for many years, for over 10 years, because today is a day I'm going to attempt to do the impossible right before your very eyes, right here on this brain train. In my quest to do the impossible, I found there are two things that they're universal for people around the world. Everybody has fears and everybody has dreams, right? Any of you have fears and dreams? In my life, I grew up with a lot of fears. As a little kid, I suffered from low self-esteem, inferiority complex, fear of the water, fear of heights, fear of spiders and snakes. Anybody afraid of spiders and snakes? Yeah? Yes. Water and sharks. No. Doctors, nurses, dentists, needles, drills, sharp objects. But more than anything, I was afraid of people. I suffered from low self-esteem, inferiority complex, and something we didn't even know you could sign up for back then, something called social anxiety disorder. So I had fears, but I also had dreams. I dreamed I wanted to be like Superman. I wanted to fly around the world doing superhuman feats and saving lives. I wanted to fight for truth and justice. I wanted to fight against villains and kryptonite. And I would read Guinness Book of World Records and Ripley's Believe It or Not books. Anybody read Guinness Book of World Records? I saw real people doing real feats, and I said, I want to do that. So I had fears and I had dreams. Fast forward to 1997. In 1997, I heard there were less than 12 sword swallowers left in the entire world, and I said, I've got to do that. So I started practicing. I practiced 10 to 12 times a day, every day, for 4 years. I calculated that out to be about 13,000 unsuccessful attempts before I got my first sword down my throat. During that time, I searched out each one of those 12 sword swallowers, and I found every book, magazine, newspaper article, every medical research paper, everything I could find on sword swallowing. I wanted to become the world's leading expert in sword swallowing. During that time, I networked all the sword swallowers into the Sword Swallowers Association International, conducted a 2-year medical research paper that was published in a little magazine I'd never heard of before called the British Medical Journal, that won the 2007 Ig Nobel Prize in Medicine. And I learned a lot about sword swallowing. Let me tell you a little of the interesting things I found out about sword swallowing. Sword swallowing started about 4,000 years ago in ancient India, where I had first seen it as a 20-year-old kid. Over the past 150 years, we know that sword swallowers have helped make major contributions in the fields of science and medicine, in the development of the rigid endoscope and the electrocardiogram in 1906, endoscope in 1868, and a number of other different things. Over those 150 years, we know of hundreds of injuries from sword swallowing and 29 deaths. But the most fascinating thing I learned about sword swallowing is how sword swallowers learn to do the impossible. And the secret for learning to do the impossible is you do not focus on the 99.9% that is impossible. You focus on that 0.1% that is possible, and you figure out how to make it possible. In order for me to swallow a sword, the way that I do it, I have to slide the sword in the mouth, in the mund, over the tongue, and down between the lungs, down the slokdarm. And as I slide it down, when it gets to the center of the chest, the esophagus makes a kind of a curve around the highest concentration of blood vessels in the human body, an organ known as, I think in Dutch you call it the heart. So I actually have to nudge the heart aside, and if you watch very carefully, you can see the blade beat with my heart like this, because it's leaning against the heart, separated by about 1/8 of an inch of esophageal tissue. From there I go past the breastbone, past the liver and kidneys, down into the stomach, repress the Retz reflex in the stomach, all the way down into the maag, the stomach. If I go further than that, all the way down to my fallopian tubes. Eyelighter. No, eierstokken. No.
Will you be swallowing anything within the next 2 seconds?
I will swallow one right now.
Very good, Dan.
Just to show you what it looks like. I'll let you hold this.
Can please keep the microphone to Dan's mouth?
No, that's okay. So what I'm going to do...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in the whole world,
here goes.
BrainTrain with a sword swallower. Woo! Oh, no! Give him a big hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
What is possible and not focusing on
Thank you from the bottom of my... Actually, thank you from the bottom of my stomach. I told you I was going to do the impossible today, and now I have. But the impossible thing was not that I could swallow that sword. I do that every day. The impossible thing was for that scared, shy, skinny, wimpy kid to have the guts to stand up in front of a bunch of total strangers and tell you his story of his fears and dreams right here. That is my gift that I want to give to you. The impossible is not impossible. You can do the impossible. If a scared, shy, skinny kid from Indiana can do the impossible, then so can you. Thank you.